Well, a new rumor making its way online might have given us a much better idea on what Marvel's Midnight Suns could look like. Let's take a couple minutes to break down this most recent report, a rumor, and what members of the MCU will be joining the Midnight Suns. Now, before we do that though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos. We want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently, so you are really in the know. Well, one project we keep hearing rumors about is Midnight Suns. Now, it's often referred to as Midnight Suns, S-O-N-S, or sometimes Midnight Suns, S-U-N-S, based on the more recent title, but the group itself is basically Marvel's Supernatural Avengers. There have been rumors for a couple years now that the Midnight Suns were happening at Marvel Studios, but let's be clear, nothing has been announced as of yet. But over the last couple of years, Marvel started to assemble a roster of supernatural and magical characters, and a team-up for all of these characters seems like a smart move, and definitely something Marvel would like to do, because they've made it pretty clear they like those Avengers-style team-ups. Now, the big question when it comes to the Midnight Suns is who will be part of the team, and obviously looking at characters who have already been introduced is a great place to start. Now, one place we've been getting a lot of updates recently is from the Cosmic Circus, and specifically Alex Perez. Now, recently they did a Discord conversation and broke down a lot of reports, so you might be seeing quite a few videos coming your way based on some of this news. Now, what they are saying is the roster for the upcoming Midnight Suns team will indeed include a list of characters who have been mostly introduced, but a couple of new names. Now, Perez says the MCU lineup will most likely include Wong, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Blade, Werewolf by Night, and Man-Thing. But he does go on to say, and I quote, "Other names I've heard from most to least likely include the Black Knight, Scarlet Scarab, Elsa Bloodstone, Doctor Strange, and even Agatha Harkness. But if I had to guess how many members I'd expect for this team lineup, I'd say somewhere between 6 and 9 members. Now, the most interesting thing about this list is basically the only two characters that we haven't seen yet are Blade and Ghost Rider. Although, to be fair, the Black Knight has yet to suit up, but his alter ego was a big part of the Eternals. Now, the list itself I find, well, rather predictable, but there was one rather interesting entry. I thought it was pretty interesting that Wong was included in this list. As many of you know, he is technically the current Sorcerer Supreme, and the last Doctor Strange movie actually ended with Doctor Strange taking off with Clea to stop an incursion in another reality. So I suspect his duties as the Sorcerer Supreme are still happening, and he might actually be the one that forms this team to take on some really big supernatural threat. Now, from Marvel Studios, it's always been pretty quiet when it comes to Midnight Suns. But to be fair, Moon Knight star Oscar Isaac definitely showed interest in reprising the role of Moon Knight in the Midnight Suns project. He actually said in an interview a couple of months ago, quote, "I thought there was an interesting opportunity with Midnight Suns. There's such interesting characters in there, and now that we set the groundwork with learning who Mark, Steven, and Jake are, it could be an interesting opportunity to see him as part of a team and what that dynamic would be. So I think that would be exciting. I think for me, I definitely hope there's some room to explore that possibility." Now, if I'm making any bets, I really do believe a Midnight Suns movie, or maybe a series, could materialize at some point. One of the nice things about a lot of horror is it is a little easier to keep the budget under control. But if you know how the box office works, horror movies do really, really well and make great return on investment, so Marvel is probably leaning that way. Also consider, as we said, Bob Iger likes to lean into successful franchises, and their most successful franchise is, well, the Avengers. And basically, the Midnight Suns are the supernatural Avengers, and I don't think Marvel Studios would have a hard time billing it as such and garnering a lot of attention from casual fans who might not be familiar with the characters, but do like Marvel's team-up movies, which quite honestly often do very well in the theaters. Now, like we said, this is from the Cosmic Circus, nothing official from Marvel Studios, but it is a really interesting story and something I hope materializes. Anytime you see characters team up, it's always pretty awesome, and adding Ghost Rider and Blade to the MCU are definitely happening, so with Blade right around the corner, it makes you wonder where Ghost Rider fits in, and it could very well be part of this movie that he's simply introduced as an existing character, and we don't even get an origin story for him, but I think that's for another video. What do you guys think? What do you think of this Midnight Suns lineup, seemingly led by Wong? And are there any characters not part of this list that you absolutely think should be on the team? Quite honestly, if they're fighting demons and devils, I would love to see Daredevil because his Catholic faith would play nicely into the film. Tell me what you think in the comments below.